Okay, so here are four Link to monsters. You got Needle Fiber, Akashic Magician, Beat Cop, and We Witch Apprentice. They're all Link 2s, but they each require a different thing to summon them. Needle Fiber requires two monsters, but you have to use at least one tuner. Akashic Magician requires two monsters of the same type, but you can't use a token. Beat Cop just takes any two monsters, and We Witch Apprentice takes two darks. So if I have these two monsters on the field, I can summon any of the four except for Needle Fiber because I don't control a tuner. But if I swap out Boar for a Gale, now I can summon any of these four Link 2 monsters because now I control two monsters that meet any of their requirement. Beat Cop will be considered the easiest to summon because she only takes two monsters. She doesn't have any restrictions on what it takes to summon her. So, let's put these back. Let's go and pick out the Link 3s. With these two Link 3s, you have Decode Talker, who takes 2 plus effect monsters, or Traffic Ghost. Traffic Ghost doesn't have any restrictions on how to summon him, but he takes 3 monsters. You have to use 3 monsters. Decode Talker takes 2 plus effect monsters. So, say I have Chris, Gale, and Boar on the field. I can now summon any of either one of these two, Decode Talker or Ghost. So bam, bam, bam. I can summon Decode Talker, or I can summon Ghost. And I can bring these back. Where they differ at is if I want to send these two to the grave, I can make Wee Witch. Now I can make Decode Talker by sending Wee Witch and Boar to the grave because he takes 2 plus effect monsters. And Link 2 monsters count as 2 monsters technically. So if I send these two, now I can go into Decode Talker. But since Traffic Ghost, you have to use 3 monsters. You can't use Wee Witch and Boar. Back. I'll need you. Back to the field. Summon him. So let's add you. Add Beauregard. Add Needle Fiber. Add you. Okay. So got Warship. Warship takes 2 plus effect monsters. Whereas Beauregard takes 3 plus effect monsters. So with this field, I can make either one of them by just sending all 4 of these monsters to the grave. Bam. I can summon Warship or I can summon Beauregard. Where they differ at is if I want to go into Warship, I can send these 3 to the grave and go into Decode Talker. Then I can send Decode Talker and Harm to the grave to go into Warship because he takes 2 plus monsters. Whereas I can't do the same thing with Beauregard because he takes 3+ monsters. So let's put this back. Go back here. I can also send this, 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 this. I can make a beat cop and a needle fiber, and I can send the 2 link 2s to the grave because they both count as 2 monsters, so that's 4 monsters, and make worship because you can use 2 monsters. And since they both count as 2, they make a link 4. With Beauregard, you can send 2 to the grave and make a link 2. Now you can use Needle Fiber, Bor, and Gale to go into Beauregard because Gale would count because Needle Fiber counts as 2 monsters. And that gives you the requirement of 3+ monsters. Other than that, let's talk about co-link and link monsters. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. If you have, say you got Beauregard right there. Chris and Bor are both linked to Beauregard, meaning that Beauregard arrows, his down, middle, and down right arrows both point to those monsters. That means they're linked monsters. Whereas if you have Beauregard and Decode Talker at each other, Beauregard has a down arrow, whereas Decode Talker has an up arrow. That means they're co-linked. So 2 co-linked monsters can have an effect where they do other things, whereas like Decode Talker, he can tribute a linked monster. Well, his said point to, but yeah, he can tribute a monster he points to, which is linked. Whereas like the nightmare monsters, all of the nightmare monsters gain effects when they're co-linked to a monster. So let's add Nightmare Phoenix. So let's add Architect to my hand and add Nightmare Phoenix. So now I have Architect and Nightmare Phoenix co-linked, and Nightmare Phoenix gains the effect that when he's co-linked to another link monster, he can draw a card when he activates his spell of trap card destruction. Plus, monsters that are co-linked can't be destroyed by battle. So I can also link summon another monster, let's say Worship. I can also link summon another monster to this zone because now Nightmare Phoenix points right, meaning that now I can summon a monster in the main monster zone because a link monster points to that area. But now these 3 monsters are all co-linked, meaning none of them can be destroyed by battle due to Nightmare Phoenix effect of him. Co-linked monsters can't be destroyed by battle.